Howdy, folks. I'm Brian.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my brother's pregnant wife she can give birth in an alley for all I care? So, I am a 30-year-old male and I have a 19-year-old male half brother. He's been living with me since he got married in December because my mother and he had a falling out due to the fact that he got married so young. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. If I knew what I know now, I wouldn't have let them both move in, him and his wife, 19. They are the worst house guests I've ever had. I say guests because they're meant to be looking for work and a place of their own. I've made it clear from the get go that this was temporary because I have 4 children myself, a 7-year-old female, a 5-year-old male, a 3-year-old female, and a 1-year-old male, and my wife works from home. Since they have moved in, they have complained about how loud mornings are and my cooking. I do all of the cooking because I rarely do anything spicy, which my brother's wife craves. They're messy and they never pick up after themselves, and even moan to my wife about never doing their laundry nor making my brother's wife snacks during the day. They think that me and my wife are their personal helpers slash drivers, and then they try to guilt us when we tell them that no, 4 a.m. McDonald runs, or my brother's wife rude comments about, haha, we are too young to know better. What? It all came to a head this weekend when all of our children were at home due to a bug going around. Nothing bad, just school slash daycare in our area are extra cautious. I couldn't get the day off, so unfortunately my wife had to deal with 6 children while trying to work. My brother and his wife demanded that they all stay in one room and that we get them takeout so there are no germs near their food. When my wife told them that they should cook for once because she's extremely busy, they flipped out, calling her a heartless bee for making a 5-month pregnant woman cook for 8 people and my brother clean while he was trying to sort out business, whatever that's supposed to mean. It got to the point of them screaming at my wife and my kids crying. My wife had an anxiety attack. I rushed home when I got an SOS text, but my brother was waiting on the door crying about, quote, not being our, quote, slave, and how his pregnant wife is starving. When I got to my wife's office, she explained everything. I saw red. I told them that they have 30 days to get out, and it was time that they faced the real world. They tried to argue with me, explaining that none of them can drive and my brother still hasn't got a job, and I said, I don't care. My brother's wife said that they would end up homeless, and if anything happened to my niece, it was all my fault. And I told them basically what the title says, and she started crying, calling me a heartless jerk. I explained the situation to my sister, and she called me a bad bee for being so heartless to 2 teenagers, but I asked her when she was letting them move in, and she hung up. It's pretty funny how that works. I've had multiple social media posts about me and angry phone calls from my sister's husband and my brother's friends. Edit, so my brother and his wife have been kicked out as of an hour ago. My sister-in-law told me this morning that she would make the next 30 days living heck on earth for us and blasted music when the baby was sleeping. Put on horror movies on the family TV while the kids were in the room. Messed up both of the bathrooms, even left the tubs full, then made a ton of food without eating much of it or cleaning up. They were extremely rude and went out of their way to insult my wife and children, thinking I had to legally let them stay for 30 days when I don't. So you can imagine their faces when I started throwing their stuff into the front garden. They threatened to call the police. When that didn't work, they knew I wasn't backing down. The tears and begging started. My brother even had the nerve to demand money for 3 months' rent and a deposit for their own apartment. I told them to F off, and my wife told them to go over to my sister's house and she will help them. They end up begging for a hotel slash food money, but I told them to kick rocks, and if they weren't off my property in 20 minutes, I would be calling the police. I don't know where they are now, but judging by the amount of times my sister has rang me, they're probably at her house. I've also changed my voicemail to, if you're mad I kicked out brother and sister-in-law, you'll take them in or give them money. If you won't or can't, then shut up. Thanks everyone for the support. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
I love how their reaction, instead of trying to get back into everyone's good graces here and trying to be better people in the household situation was to just mess everything up. It's like you went a U-turn here. You just totally went from one one direction to another. It's not like they were even good housemates to begin with, but to just basically be like, I'm gonna destroy your stuff now because you're kicking me out because I think I have 30 days. It's just rude, right? And it's kind of funny that they actually thought that they were going to be able to get an additional 30 days. They might actually have some kind of legal rights, but I don't know. And yeah, I think that now they're probably certainly not going to try and uh, you know get the police involved in that. And I think like there are certain cases where evictions can be basically postponed if someone is actively like destroying property or something like that. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know these things, but I would imagine that if you have proof that someone is destroying your property, that a tenant is like literally destroying your property, then the judge is probably going to be like, yeah, actually, you can't destroy people's stuff. So, and either way, like you can call the police on someone who's literally destroying your stuff, right? And I love how they're trying to play the pity party here that, oh, well, you can't kick out the pregnant woman. It's like, what do you mean? You are being complete monsters here. So, yeah, this isn't a good situation. I feel bad for OP. And I think that they've done everything right here where they've kicked them out. They've told people to take them in if they're not happy with their decision. And plain and simple, I would have to say, not the jerk. I asked her when she was letting them move in, and she hung up. That says it all. They want you to keep taking care of the mess so they don't have to. Not the jerk. They should have thought of all that before they treated you and your wife so poorly. Yeah, write down the names of everyone who called or messaged you to complain about your behavior. Pass the note on to your sister-in-law and tell her that those people volunteered to treat them better. But yeah, I think that that is a great point. Those people are all being very, very sympathetic towards brother and sister-in-law. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Trying to Expand My Niece's Literature Collection? I married my husband 3 years ago. He has a now 12-year-old niece that he's very close to. We'll call her Kara for the sake of this post. Kara is a huge reader. At pretty much every family function, she brings a book or two. I was the same way as a kid, and I love to see how much she loves books. The first birthday after I married my husband, he let me pick out a gift for our niece. Growing up, I loved books like Little House on the Prairie, so I got her a box set of those books. Normally, I'd seen my niece read YA or fantasy/sci-fi, so I figured that this would be something new. She did seem to genuinely be excited about receiving the books, and at the next family event, a week later, I saw her reading the first book, so I assumed that she liked it. From there on out, I've gotten her books similar. Some are from when I was a kid, others are from present day authors. I never saw her reading the books, and when I asked her about them, she'd say, oh, I'm reading that one after the next one I read. For Christmas, I planned on giving her some Dear America books that I had found in a secondhand bookshop, pristine condition, along with a box set of Anna Green Gables series. I was talking to my sister-in-law and mentioned that I was looking for the box set. She gently suggested that I get her daughter something else. I was confused, and she admitted that Kara didn't really like the genre of books. She had given a few a try, but they just weren't for her. She also tried watching the Little House series, and she was pretty mad about it. She told me that she was currently reading a sci-fi series, and if I wanted to get her anything, just get her that. I had already bought the Dear America books, so I decided to give those anyways, and nothing else. When my husband asked why, when we usually spend a lot on her, she's the only kid in the family right now, so we can afford to spoil her a bit, I explained and clearly said that my gifts went unappreciated. He got upset and said I shouldn't punish Kara for not having the same taste as me. He ended up going out and getting Kara a $100 gift card to a bookstore, which was clearly her favorite gift when she opened that with the books on Christmas. I later told my husband that he can just pick out the gifts from now on. He told me that I'm being childish, and instead of trying to get to know my niece's taste, I'm shoving my own on her. To me, I'm just trying to broaden her horizons. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, jerk or not the jerk?
Jerk, big jerk.
Amber says jerk, big jerk. I say Of course you're not the jerk. Everyone should be molded into your image of you, OP. You are
No.
clearly the epitome of good taste and fine literature. So,
No.
yes, you have my full endorsement to go
No.
out to go out
No.
and to buy her every classic book
Bad
ever.
OP and bad Brian.
Amber's over here just lamenting the fact that I'm saying this. I'm of course just kidding. I think that OP is trying to mold Kara into someone who she isn't, and Kara even tried to give the books a chance, but OP just didn't get the hint at a certain point when she didn't see her with those books anymore. And I think that that's really what it boils down to here. It's not Kara's fault that she doesn't have a taste in things like The Little House on the Prairie or Anne of Green Gables. Some book people really like those books. Some people just don't care for them. And I think that that's, you really just can't force someone to have different taste, right? You like what you like. And plain and simple. So no, OP, I don't think that you're the jerk. I mean, so OP, I do think that you're the jerk. I don't think you should be trying to mold your niece into someone who she's not. Just get her stuff that she likes. How hard is that? So, and I mean, it's all right to throw the occasional like book into these that you think that might expand her literature collection, but don't expect her to read them and don't expect her to be like all crazy about them, right? So, like maybe if you got her a sci-fi book set and then like one or two of the books that you like, right? So it doesn't have to be like all of, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing here, right? You can get her other books. Like you don't have to like you don't have to be like it's all classic literature or nothing. You get her a few of the books that she likes. Plain and simple. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You weren't a jerk for getting her the books, but you're making a really big deal out of nothing. She was polite and gave the books and series a try. I wouldn't call that unappreciated. Surely you've gotten a gift in your life that you weren't super zazzed on, so I don't know why you're taking the fact that she has different tastes so personally. Neither you nor your niece or her mother were rude. She just prefers a different genre. Either stick with gift cards or make an effort to find out what kind of books that she likes. You're the jerk. Exactly, OP. You weren't a jerk for trying to broaden your niece's horizons, but you're a jerk for pushing your interest on her and pushing her for not liking the same, or punishing her for not liking the same genre of books as you. She's not you. You seem to feel some kind of kinship in the fact that she's into books, which is wonderful. But why can't you still feel a kinship despite liking different types of books? Have you tried taking an interest in the stuff that she's reading? Regardless, wouldn't you rather get her something that she might actually enjoy and have a chance at keeping and developing a positive relationship with what sounds like a cool kid instead of backing her into the corner where she feels that she has to be fake around you? Yeah, good point. Our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for having a visible baby bump at my stepsister's wedding when I promised I wouldn't? My husband Sam, a 28-year-old male, and I, a 28-year-old female, have been married for 2 years. My stepsister and a good friend, Rosanna, was supposed to be getting married in June 2020. This is all an old issue from last year that was brought up again, and I still believe I was in the right, so I'm posting it. Sam and I were trying for a baby. We stopped trying 9 months before her wedding, not because she made me, but because I wanted to be able to attend her wedding in my bridesmaid's dress. We started trying again 3 months before the wedding because then, if I was going to get pregnant, it would be non-visible, tiny baby bump. If that makes sense. She knew we were trying, so we told her that she wouldn't have to worry about me getting pregnant. She looked reassured and happy about that. Well, Rosanna forgot to check the weather on the day of her outdoor wedding, until very close to the wedding. She ended up having to reschedule her wedding. Luckily, most of the stuff was reschedulable. She rescheduled it in October. It turns out I did get pregnant. The baby was due in early January, conceived in April. My baby bump showed at the later wedding date, but not the original. Rosanna was mad that I broke my promise, but I said that she should have just checked the weather and it wasn't my fault. I'd go no contact and be done with it all, but my family members would go nuts over it. I just want to resolve this issue and go back to normal. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
I find it really funny that they have such a problem with UOP being pregnant for their wedding. One, I mean, why does it matter if you have a baby bump or not? And two, how do they think pregnancy works? You can't, if you get,
No undo button.
yeah, there is no undo button here. You can't just like be like, oh yeah, I'll tell the fetus to stop growing for 3 months so that we can actually have this, baby bump free. It's not really something you control, right? So that, yeah, I would have a really hard time faulting you here. You didn't maliciously set out to be pregnant, but again, like, what would be the big deal if you were pregnant anyways? I just don't see why it's a wedding ruining event. So that's my thoughts. Anyhow, take care and good luck. I truly don't understand why the baby bump would be a problem in the first place. If you were my stepsister, I would just be over the moon that you got pregnant. She sounds like a bridezilla, not the jerk. Seriously, I was 6 months pregnant as a bridesmaid in my sister's wedding. I was obviously showing, bloated and moderately miserable and in heat, and my sister did not care. She was just happy that I was there and part of the big day. Who cares? I didn't draw a single bit of attention in her photos. I probably made her look even better in comparison to me because I was so bloated and / water weight. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
He told me that I'm being childless. He told me that I'm being childish. Here's one for the blooper reel. No. You weren't a jerk, but... Surely you've gotten a gift in your life that you weren't super jazzed on? Oh, jazzed. Zazzed. Zazzed.
Yeah, Zazd, I guess.